let's do a close reading of a poem incorporating several of our active reading strategies. With poetry, let's focus on visualizing, clarifying, and connecting. You'll recall that when active readers visualize, they make images and movies in their heads. But these movies are special. The reader can not only see and hear the action, but also smell, taste, and touch. An active reader clarifies as needed. Poets often use figurative language and unique vocabulary to communicate complex thoughts and ideas. Active readers note when the text is unclear and take the time to clarify meaning, even if it takes multiple readings. Active readers persevere through the difficult parts. The active reader makes connections from the text to his or her own life. This brings better understanding and gives deeper meaning to the poem. Our poem is provided by the Poetry Foundation on poetryfoundation.org. The title is I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. Your active reading begins with the title. Visualize what it means to wander lonely as a cloud. On rainy days, there are many, many clouds, so I don't think they are very lonely. I have seen days where a single solitary cloud floats in the sky. On a day like this, it is usually quite sunny and bright, and the cloud does look lonely in all that blue sky. Pay attention to author and poet names as well. If you like a poem, story, or book by a particular author, you will want to find other works by the same author or poet. You'll recall that poems are often divided into stanzas, which are regular groups of lines that have a pattern. Many, but not all poems have rhyme patterns within the stanzas. Read the poem all the way through, trying to get a feel for what the poet is communicating. Read straight through without stopping too much, but do circle or underline words or phrases that are unclear. Let's read the first stanza. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Remember, we're not going to stop except to mark places that are unclear. I'm going to circle o'er vales and hills and host. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. I'm a bit unclear about that. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. I'm going to circle a couple of words here that I'm unclear about. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart and pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. Okay, much of this stanza is fuzzy. I'm going to circle oft, pensive mood, vacant, inward eye, bliss of solitude. All of that's a little unclear to me. After reading the entire poem, I will go back again and try to clarify places that were unclear. I find that o'er is a contraction for over, and vales are valleys. So floating high over vales, valleys, and hills. Host means, in this case, great many. Sometimes you can figure these things out simply by rereading slowly. Other times you'll need to use a dictionary or ask your parent educator. In this stanza, the margin of a bay simply refers to the shoreline. In this case, the word gay means happy, and jocund means cheerful. Now here's the stanza that was most confusing, but a careful reading will clear things up. Oft is a contraction for often. Vacant means empty, and pensive means dreamy or thoughtful. I think the author is lying on the couch daydreaming. They, meaning the daffodils, flash upon the inward eye. The inward eye is simply my mind, which is the bliss of solitude. Bliss means joy, and solitude is being alone. The author means that when a person is alone in a dreamy mood, the heart can again fill with pleasure and dance with the daffodils.